So if you've seen the news as of late, Coronation Street has announced that, well, the Sun had leaked rather, that Coronation Street is going to go through some changes. Some characters are going to be cut, characters aren't going to be here anymore. But it's all kind of implied, it's all by the Sun. Ooh. So, of course, this suggested that there would be, what, about 10% of the cast? And Coronation Street has 84 regular members of cast. So now it's time for me to go ahead and suggest which 8 characters I would axe Coronation Street Edition. Now, I did record this video before, but with this new microphone, I had a button set to do the vocoder. Now, if you don't know what that means, I'm going to give you a lovely little example of what it sounds like. So let me just turn this on and let me turn the vocoder on. So it sounds like this. Now, I recorded a 30-minute video with that on the whole time. So, and I spent time slowly figuring out what I was going to do, where I was going to put it. So unfortunately, I can't really put that out. Nobody's watching a 30-minute going, hey, so time I'm going to talk about this. Like, fuming. I'm absolutely fuming. But it also means that I've already done all of the extra effort to try and figure out who my top 8 characters to axe are. So let's just give us a little browse of the list, see what people think. So obviously main characters, Kit, Green, Debbie, Abby, Kevin, Carla, Lisa, Sarah, Todd, Betsy, and Daniel all make sense. And it kind of goes down a bit further. Most of them getting 70. That makes sense. Kind of goes through. Characters had way less screen time than you would have expected, like Adam, who had 23 episodes, stuff like this. And a bunch of the like older actresses like Audrey and Rita. And then you kind of get all the kids down here. So with all that said, though, my list will go as followed. The first character I would axe is, of course, Cassie Plumber, Tyrone's mum, who was brought back to be Tyrone's mum, but in a kind of weird twist of events where Tyrone's mum doesn't really be Tyrone's mum. And because of ITV and him doing I'm a Celeb, he's not even on the screen that much anymore. And with Evelyn being gone and Fizz basically being nowhere, you kind of get Cassie having to try and strike up her own family. So she starts by poisoning Ken Barlow. And I don't know if you're supposed to feel bad for her or you're supposed to just kind of dislike her, because she is kind of a villain. But then they pivot away from her poisoning Ken Barlow, and now her and Steve are together. And it's in such a weirdly like overt, gross way where it's like, oh, hello, Stevie Mac. Come here, my little sex kitten. Like, what? Yeah, I love you, my little sugar muffin. Like, what is going on here? Why is it so overt? Why is it so gross? And like, it's clearly just a stopgap. It's a stopgap for Steve. It's a stopgap for Cassie. I don't think she's worked. I think Claire Sweeney's fine. I think she's fine in the role. But I don't think the writing of Cassie has been very good. And I would just simply, you know, cut the apron strings rather than actually I would cut the strings instead of just keeping her. I just decide, just like Mick and Lou, which also kind of bold take is that Mick and Lou actually turned out to be 2 of the best characters on Coronation Street this year, which is wild. I just get rid of Cassie. Fundamentally, I just dislike Cassie as a whole. I don't think she is a very good character. I don't think the writing's good, and I just don't like her, which is kind of sad to say. Right, next up's going to be no surprise. Also, these aren't in any particular order either. These are just the characters I thought of. So next up, we have a character in a family that I immediately despise and dislike and never have liked all in all. So next up is Gemma Winter Brown, member of the Winter Brown family, in a relation, married to Chesney in a relationship that I'd describe as loveless and kind of ridiculous. And ultimately, they're just kind of written into the ground, right? Because obviously when Paul died, you go, oh, is Gemma actually going to have some serious scenes? Not really. Not really. It's just not really that great. And they've kind of just kept the writing into the ground because they refuse to actually make Gemma and Chesney not poor, because they want Gemma and Chesney. They have Gemma and Chesney and Lauren, who are the poor people on the show, and they are dirt poor, and they are like the working class, and that's who they are described to be. But other than that, it's kind of like they're just written into the same. They're poor, they're depressed, they're unhappy. Bernie's a fucking shit mum. And the only reason I've kept Bernie is due to her relationship with, or due to a relationship with his son, Kit, which I do like that pairing. I do think it's good. But pretty much everything about the Winter Browns just would wind me up. And I'm sick of it. I think it's wasting good years for Chesney. It's wasting good years of Chesney. It's kind of gone nowhere. Like, you think of what Chesney was supposed to do, because he's been on the show for what, like 22 years now? Like, man alive, is it kind of upsetting as to how kind of nothing of a character Chesney's become. Like, he was the orange juice kid, I think. Was he? It might just be some other ginger kid. Was he the Robinsons kid? Hold on. Was it Chesney? I don't know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, I just don't like Gemma. I don't like the characterization. Obviously, she can be saved. You just kind of have to make them actually make some money and not just be the token poor couple on the show. At the end of the day, and just make her a little bit less annoying. Yeah. Just stop writing them into the ground. Actually have some variety in the plot. But ultimately, if you're getting rid of Paul, who is arguably the more interesting one, Gemma's got to go. Bernie's got a new blended family with Dev and Asher and Addie. Like, I just think that Gemma's just useless. And like, she's been here as full time since 2016. 2016. Oh. All right, next up, the next couple are quite contentious, but the next one I would immediately get rid of is Leanne. Leanne Battersby, for me, is one of the... She's like a Rottweiler. She will gnaw your face off in a video game. I just think that Leanne is a good character to have. Just like Tracy, you want to have these characters there who will just yell at people and cause arguments and be involved in fights. Sure, she's good at that. But for me, basically everything since Oliver in 2020 has made Leanne one of the most insufferable characters on the show. And I get that you're not supposed to like her all the time because she is a bit of a cow, but doesn't mean I've got to enjoy everything about her. Like, I hate Leanne. For like a brief glimpse as well, I was excited when Leanne and Nick split up. Like, oh, this is cool. This is a really interesting idea. But to me, it's kind of... Leanne's in the spot that Nikki Sanderson found herself in as Maxine on... No, Maxine's a fucking Corrie character. As... Maxine. Yeah, as Maxine on Hollyoaks. She is a good... like ambassador for the show, and she's a good character that you can give her anything and she'll typically do a good job of it. But it doesn't make the character any less annoying. I don't know. I'm sick of Leanne. And likewise, I'm sick of Nick Tilsley. who's my next character I would absolutely axe. Like, I've never really understood the recast of Nick Tilsley to Ben Price, who is a boring, dick in the mud, uninteresting, weirdly overused character. He's a garbage actor, which I can say that from my fucking throne. He's not a good actor. He's not a good character. He doesn't even really fit in with the plot. And I don't know why he's gotten the status as to kind of be like a very established character. Because he's got, what, like at least 2,000 episodes? Like, I refuse to believe it's good. And for a moment, amid the weird stuff with, I think it was Baby Rose with Toya, where you actually get him and Toya getting together, I'm like, oh, this is exciting. But I was mostly just there because I like Toya and I don't like Leanne. So fuck it, I guess we ball. But then, the second they actually get together out of the affair, bomb, is immediately boring as fuck. And back to regularly scheduled programming. Like, I get that Nick Tilsley's kind of like a part of the furniture. And he, you know, he's mate to Jack P. Shepherd. That didn't save Coulson Smith's job. I'm tired of Nick. I think they've written him into the ground. I just want a complete change. I don't want him to be in charge of the bistro anymore. I'm fucking sick of him being in the bistro. I want Nick to change, and I want him to do something different with his life. But unfortunately, we'll probably just get more of the same. Someone who did actually get a decent chunk of difference in their life is Jenny Connor, who, after a pretty rocky time, proceeded to no longer be landlady of the Rover's Return, which is a big change of the character. And because of said big change of the character, it's now time to admit that maybe she just doesn't have anything left. Like, Jenny has 2 bits of family on the show. She is Rita, and she had Daisy. Now Daisy's gone. You need to do... If you want Sally Ann Matthews to stay, and I think she deserves a place to stay, you gotta reinvest in Jenny's character. You have to give her a relationship. You have to give her more family. Jenny's all alone. It's kind of crazy. Like, she has nothing left. And, you know, at some point later down the line, it feels like she'll get given the Craig Tinker treatment, saying, oh, well, you don't have any family around anymore, so I guess the writing's on the wall. I like Jenny. I think she could stay, but what, now she's just going to become the next Rita? Rita's still here and she barely gets episodes. So, I don't know. You really have to do something to justify Jenny's place on the show. Next up, we have Brian Packham, who, admittedly, he's more of just a recurring character, and he's only really had a big year this year. But all in all, he's been here for what, like a decade or so, and he's only got like what 600 episodes, something like that. Like he's got a really small kind of catalog. So maybe it's not everything to Brian to be there, and I think that's fine. But I also think he is just he is a surrogate for all of the older, like more tenured actors who have left. And unfortunately, he just doesn't fit in. Like, you have scenes where it's like, oh, here's Evelyn and Ken and Roy and Rita and Audrey and Brian. It's like, what? What? You know that clip where it's like Scottish, like not Scottish independence, but it's like William Wallace Day, and you have all the people dressed up like, I'm Laura, and then someone goes, I'm William Wallace, and then one guy goes, I'm Brian. That's how I feel about Brian in Coronation Street. He's just there, and I don't know what to do with him. His dramatic stuff with Julie, not great. His relationship with Mary that didn't go anywhere to facilitate Julie's return, meh. And also Mary's another character who I would happily act at any point in time, because I like Mary and I like the idea of what she brings, but unfortunately, just like Kirk, her comedy is depthless, weird, like quirk, and that has its place, but it only really works if the rest of the show is actually written really well. Because like Ah, and what's Mary gonna say? Oh, well, it's like that one time when Mother made me wear dresses and I acted like a sailor for 3 days. But turns out we were shipwrecked. It's like, what you even saying, man? Like, just shut the fuck up. I like them both, but just not on my Coronation Street right now. Like, if we are axing people, these are the first to go. And now the final one for this is going to be Shona Platt, a character who I've been kind of saying the writing's been on a wall for a while. And honestly, you probably could have gotten rid of Shona years ago. Like, when she was shot for the brain injury, everything beyond that to me has felt like an afterthought. And I don't really understand why they figured out that Shona is a keeper. Because, like, yeah, she's a solid actress and she does the job and she's had a lot of good work, but I just don't think the characterization of Shona's been that good ever. And I don't know, they just have this weird loyalty to long-running characters. But, like, is Shona going to be remembered as an all-time great? No, she's going to be remembered as David Platt's wife who wasn't Kylie. Like, sorry. I think Julia Golding's good. I think she's a good actress. I like what she brings, but the writing has just been pretty all over the shop. And it hasn't really been good for her for years. So I just think it's time for Shona to go. I think the Platts need a bit of a shake up. I would like to see David kind of find love again. And this time it to be someone who didn't like give birth to the man who killed David's wife. Just weird. Just weird. And, you know, with a bunch of characters like being gone, it feels like with Billy going, a lot of the people that Shona would actually kind of gravitate to are also leaving. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think Shona's that good, and I'd happily see the back of her. Obviously, I will argue, and I'll just show up the list on screen. I don't think you need to axe any of these. I don't think you need to kill off any of these characters. A lot of these characters can just leave, and then when the show's in a better state and in a better condition, you could just bring them. You could bring them back, essentially. But at the end of the day, a lot of these characters I would happily never see again. But, and I know it's been kind of bold. I didn't put like Lauren on the list. I didn't put Summer on the list. I don't mind these younger characters. I think they have potential. I just don't think they've been written in the best way. And that's what I'm leading it out for. But for a lot of characters who already have this big, long tenure, you kind of need a big break from them to actually want to have them back. That's my take on it. So yeah, there we are. That's my video. Who would you axe on Coronation Street? Tell me in the comments section down below. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. This video has not been in this fucking voice. Hello. Isn't that fun? A whole 30-minute video of that. Human. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.